Chapter 1. The inspector asked if I owned a kitchen. I had never seen the health inspector called while I was standing in the frozen aisle at the grocery store, holding a bag of peas I did not want. Within minutes, I would learn that my best friend had opened a restaurant using my name, and that the county believed every dangerous mistake inside it belonged to me. I almost ignored the call because the number was unfamiliar, and because I had spent that whole week avoiding anything that looked like another bill. Then I saw the Raleigh area code and answered with the peas melting cold against my palm. "This?" the man asked. "This is Elena. This is Marcus Reed with Wake County Environmental Health. I am calling about Morales table at 118 Oak Street. We completed an inspection this morning, and I need to speak with the responsible person on the permit." I stared at the freezer. Reflection stared back, pale under grocery store lights. "I'm sorry," I said. "What restaurant?" There was a pause. Not a confused pause. "Careful one," he said. "The permit lists Elena Morales as owner and certified food protection manager." My fingers tightened around the peas until the plastic crackled. "I do not own a restaurant." Behind me, someone pushed a cart past the ice cream and apologized because I had stopped in the middle of the aisle. Marcus lowered his voice. "Ma'am, I need you to confirm whether you are associated with the business operating under that name." "No." "Have you authorized anyone to use your name on a food service permit?" "No." He exhaled once softly. "Then we need to document that. Restaurant failed inspection this morning. There are cold holding violations, missing sanitizer logs, an unpermitted prep area, and your name is on the responsible party authorization." My name. Not my old catering nickname. Not a similar name. Mine. Elena Morales. The name I had taken off menus 3 years earlier when I closed my supper club and told everyone I needed time to take care of my mother. That was true, but it was not the whole truth. I had run out of money, confidence, and the ability to smile while people asked when I would open a real restaurant. Now someone had opened one for me. Without me. Who signed it? I asked. Marcus went quiet again. "The file contains an owner/operator authorization bearing your signature." I put the peas back in the freezer very slowly, as if the wrong movement might make the world tilt. "Mr. Reed, I did not sign anything. Can you come to the environmental health office today?" I looked down at my basket. Eggs, store-brand coffee, dish soap, and a loaf of bread. Things a woman buys when she thinks her life is boring. "Yes," I said. "But first I need the address of the restaurant." He gave it to me again. 118 Oak Street. I knew that address. Not because I had been there, but because my best friend Betrayal had driven past it with me 6 weeks earlier. "The old bakery," she had said, pointing through the windshield. "Can you imagine what someone could do with those windows?" I had said yes because imagining restaurants had once been my favorite private pain. Then she changed the subject. By the time I reached the parking lot, my phone had 4 new notifications. One was from my brother Luis asking if I was still coming by on Saturday. One was from my electric company. 2 were from. First Instagram message said, "Are you finally cooking again? This looks amazing." The second had a photo attached. It showed a deep green storefront with cream letters painted across the glass. Morales table. Under it, in smaller gold script, were the words, "By Elena Morales." I stood beside my car with the grocery bag cutting into my wrist and understood something before I had proof, before I had legal words, before I had even let myself say her name. Betrayal had not borrowed my dream. She had put my name on the door and waited for everyone else to believe I had opened it. Chapter 2. Wasting. Betrayal Carter and I met in 9th grade because she stole my seat. That is the story she used to tell at parties anyway. She would put a hand on my shoulder and say, "I stole her saving me from myself ever since." People laughed because Betrayal made every bad habit sound charming. She was 5'2", always moving, always shining, always wearing earrings large enough to have opinions. I was taller, quieter, and already carrying snacks for everyone because my mother believed hunger was a solvable social problem. By sophomore year, we were inseparable. By college, people called us sisters. By 34, I knew the dangerous thing about being called someone's sister when there was no blood, no paperwork, and no shared last name. It can become a way for them to ask for family-level loyalty while giving friend-level accountability. I did not know that yet when I started Elena's Table in 2017. Back then, it was just 12 people at a borrowed community kitchen, one long table, and my mother's green chili chicken with enough lime to wake the room up. I called it a supper club because pop-up sounded like something younger, cooler people did. I cooked Friday nights, then Sundays, then private birthdays, then small catering jobs for local nonprofits that could not pay much but knew everyone. Brielle was there from the beginning. She designed the first logo on her laptop. A round table, one imperfect line, my name in clean letters underneath. She made the Instagram page. She answered DMs when I was elbow deep in masa. She told people I was too humble to charge what I was worth. Sometimes she was right. Sometimes she was also the reason I stayed small. Elena's Table is intimate. She would say whenever I talked about signing a lease or taking a bigger loan, people love that you are hard to get. Don't ruin the magic by becoming a regular restaurant. Then, in 2020, when the world shrank into takeout boxes and worry, I tried to apply for grants. Brielle helped because forms made her feel powerful. She was an event planner then, mostly weddings, fundraisers, and company retreats with too many centerpiece opinions. She knew how to make a packet look expensive. One Saturday in November, we sat on my apartment floor with my printer wheezing beside us. She scanned my driver's license. She scanned my ServSafe Food Protection Manager certificate. She scanned the articles of organization for Morales Table LLC, the name I had registered because my bank wanted something more official than Elena's Table. She asked me to sign 3 blank authorization samples because one grant portal kept rejecting my digital signature. I am not comfortable with blanks, I said. Not blanks, she said, rolling her eyes.
Signature calibration.
You are such a grandma. I signed one sheet that said sample signature for application upload, and I watched her scan it. I remember that because I remember the coffee stain on the corner. I remember her laughing when my printer jammed. I remember trusting her the way you trust someone who has slept on your couch after a breakup and cried into your good towels. The grants did not come through. My mother got sick again. The catering deposits dried up. In February 2021, I closed Elena's Table and told myself it was temporary. The closing post got more comments than most of my menus ever had. Take your time. We will be here when you come back. You fed this city. I cried reading those comments, then I archived the account because kindness felt like debt. Brielle hated that. You are wasting the name, she said at my kitchen table one night in 2022. It is my name. Exactly. People know it. They trust it. You could sell sauces, classes, meal kits, anything. I am not ready. You have been not ready for 2 years. I snapped at her then. Not loudly, but enough that she held up both hands and did her injured smile. Fine, she said. Keep your ghost brand. After that, she stopped bringing it up directly. She still asked questions. Was Morales Table LLC still active? Did my food manager certificate expire? Did I ever renew the domain? Did I still have the old logo files? Each question sounded harmless because she wrapped it in nostalgia. Remember those tamarind short ribs? Remember that critic who said your cornbread made him emotional? Remember when we thought we were going to take over Raleigh? On March 18, 2024, while I was at my job coordinating safety logs for a senior living kitchen group, Brielle filed paperwork reviving Morales Table LLC and changing the mailing address to her event office. I did not know. On April 3rd, she signed a lease for 118 Oak Street. I did not know. On April 22nd, someone filed a county food service permit application naming me as owner and certified food protection manager. I did not know. On May 13th, Morales Table soft opened. People I had fed years earlier walked through a green door with my name on it. And on May 16th, the health inspector called me because the refrigerators were too warm. That was how I learned my best friend had turned my old dream into an alibi. Chapter 3. A restaurant full of my signature. I did not drive straight to the restaurant. That was the first smart thing I did, and I wish I could say it came from wisdom. It came from fear. I was afraid if I saw Brielle before I saw the paperwork, I would let her explain the shape of the room before I knew where the doors were. So I drove to the Wake County Environmental Health Office with my grocery bag on the passenger floor, and my old life rising around me like smoke. Marcus Reed met me in a small conference room that smelled like copier toner and hand sanitizer. He was not what I expected. I had pictured someone stern, maybe impatient, maybe already annoyed at the woman whose restaurant had failed inspection. Marcus was careful. He had a trimmed beard, tired eyes, and a folder thick enough to make my stomach hurt. "Thank you for coming in," he said. "Do you believe me? I believe records. Right now the records conflict with what you are telling me. That is why we are here." It was not warm, but it was fair. He placed the inspection report in front of me. At the top, Morales Table, 118 Oak Street.
Permitthåller, Elena Morales.
Certified Food Protection Manager, Elena Morales. Responsible person present, Betrayal Carter, Manager. Violations followed in neat black type. Walk-in cooler holding cooked chicken at 51 degrees. Shellfish stock unlabeled and undated. Sanitizer buckets below required concentration. Employee hand sink blocked by produce crates. Prep table operating in rear storage area not included in approved plan. No active temperature log for high-risk foods. The words were plain. The risk was not. I had spent enough years in food work to know what people outside kitchens often miss. Bad food safety does not always look disgusting. Sometimes it looks like a pretty plate leaving the pass while chicken sits quietly in the danger zone, and a server smiles at table 4. Marcus turned the page. "This is the owner/operator authorization submitted with the permit application." My signature was at the bottom. Not perfect, but close. Too close. Elena Morales, written in blue ink, slanted the way mine slanted when I was tired. Under it was a date, April 22, 2024. On April 22nd, I had been in a walk-in cooler at a senior living facility in Cary, arguing with a maintenance vendor about a gasket. I did not sign this. "Do you recognize the identification attached?" He showed me a copy of my driver's license. The photo was 4 years old. My hair was shorter, and I was wearing the small silver hoops I lost during a move. "Yes." "Do you recognize this certificate?" "My ServSafe certificate. Current because my day job required it." "Yes." "Did you give anyone permission to submit these?" "No." Marcus wrote that down. Writing made it real in a way speaking had not. "The permit application was filed online," he said. "We have an account email for the submission. It is not yours." "Whose is it?" He hesitated. "I cannot release everything today without a formal records request or counsel involved. But I can tell you it uses the domain for Carter events. Betrayal's company." My face went hot then cold. "Can the restaurant stay open?" "Not as currently documented. We are issuing a notice requiring corrected ownership and responsible party documentation. Based on today's violations, continued operation is already restricted pending corrective action. If the permit was obtained through false information, that becomes a separate matter." "Separate how?" "Business records, identity use, possible referral." "I am not your attorney, Ms. Morales. You should get one." He said it without drama. That made it worse. I left with copies of what he could give me and instructions for a public records request. In the parking lot, I sat in my car and opened my laptop from the back seat because waiting until home felt impossible. The Secretary of State portal found Morales Table LLC in 12 seconds. My inactive company had been reinstated. The principal office address had been changed from my old apartment to Betrayal's event office. The registered agent had been changed to a service company I had never hired. The annual report listed one manager, Elena Morales. The email for notices was not mine. I downloaded the PDF and saved it 3 times. Then I searched Morales Table. The website loaded slowly like it wanted suspense. The homepage had a photo of candlelit tables, green tile, brass lamps, and one paragraph under the heading Our Story. Morales Table brings Chef Elena Morales' beloved supper club flavors to a permanent home on Oak Street. Built from friendship, memory, and the recipes that made Elena's Table a local secret, Morales Table is an intimate neighborhood restaurant led by founder Elena Morales and managing partner Betrayal Carter. Founder. Led by. Beloved. My old Instagram photos were in the gallery. Not all of them. Enough. Cropped plates from dinners I had cooked in 2019. My hands pressing tortillas. My mother's green bowl, the one with the chip on the rim. At the bottom of the page was a reservation button. I clicked it before I could stop myself. The next available table was 8:45 that night. Under special requests, I typed one sentence. Table for Elena Morales. Then I deleted it. I was not ready to be clever. I needed to be correct. When I got home, a white envelope sat on my apartment floor under the mail slot. It was from a seafood vendor. Inside was an invoice for $7,842.16 addressed to Morales Table. Attention Elena Morales. Payment due on receipt. I put it beside the inspection report. Then I called my brother. Chapter 4. My best friend told me to be grateful Luis arrived 20 minutes after I called, which meant he had driven too fast. My brother is 6 years older than me and has two settings, quiet and emergency. He walked into my apartment, saw the papers on my table, and went quiet in a way that told me he was already in the second setting. Tell me from the beginning, he said. I did. He did not interrupt until I reached the restaurant website. Betrayal did this? I do not know everything yet. Elena. I know. No, you are doing that thing where you leave a door open for someone who already robbed the house. I hated him a little for knowing me that well. She had access, I said. But there could be an explanation. There is an explanation. You just do not like what it says about your friend. He was right, but right is not the same as easy. We spent the next hour looking through my storage bin for the old grant folder. It was under tax returns, expired leases, and a stack of menus I had kept even though seeing them always hurt. The folder was yellow. Betrayal had labeled it in her own handwriting. Elena's Table Big Girl Paperwork. Inside were copies of my ID, certificate, LLC documents, sample menus, brand files printed in color, insurance applications, a lease projection worksheet, and the signature calibration page with the coffee stain on the corner. Luis held it up. This is where she got it. I sat on the floor and felt stupid. That was the emotion that surprised me most. Not anger. Stupidity. I had trusted my best friend with the administrative pieces of a dream because I was better at cooking than paperwork, and now official offices had my signature because of it. Luis softened. You were allowed to trust her. That does not help. It should. It did not. Not yet. I texted Betrayal at 6:11 p.m. We need to talk about Morales Table. I got a call from the health department. Do not contact anyone using my name. She replied 8 minutes later. Elena, brate. I was going to explain everything tonight. Tonight. As if an explanation had been scheduled after the inspection. I wrote back. Where are you? At the restaurant. Come through the back. Please don't make a scene. Luis wanted to come with me. I said no, which was the second mistake I almost made that day. He stood in front of the door until I agreed to let him wait in the parking lot. The restaurant looked beautiful from outside. That almost undid me. The green paint, the cream lettering, the warm light behind the windows. For years I had imagined my name on a door. I had imagined walking up before service with keys in my hand, worrying about payroll, flowers, soup, the 1,000 tiny failures of opening night. Betrayal had made the dream look exactly right from the sidewalk. That was part of the theft. I entered through the alley, past trash bins and stacked chairs. The back door was propped open with a milk crate. A young prep cook glanced at me and froze. Chef. One word. Chef. I turned toward him. Who told you to call me that? He looked terrified. Betrayal appeared from the office hallway wearing a linen blazer over a black dress. She had a headset around her neck and lipstick the color of red wine. Elena, she said, smiling too brightly. Office. Now. The office was barely larger than a closet. A desk, a printer, 3 cases of wine, a corkboard full of receipts, and my old Elena's Table logo pinned beside a staff schedule. My name was at the top of the schedule. Owner Chef. Elena Morales. Betrayal closed the door. Before you spiral, I need you to listen. You put my name on a health permit. I put your name on the concept. No. The permit. She pressed her fingers to her temples like I was being difficult. The permit needed continuity with the brand. You already had the LLC and the certification. I was going to bring you in officially once we were stable. Bring me into my own name? Our name, she said. That sentence loosened something ugly inside me. Morales is not our name, Betrayal. Do not do that. You know what I mean. I built this from what we started together. I cooked. You helped with Instagram. Her face hardened. And you quit. You walked away and buried everything. People loved Elena's table. And you let it rot because you were scared. The word hit where she aimed it. I had been scared. I was still scared. That did not make fraud a rescue. You forged my signature. I copied paperwork to get us through approvals. That is forgery. That is survival. I laughed once because if I did not, I would have cried. The kitchen failed inspection this morning. We had opening week issues. Every restaurant does. Cold chicken at 51 degrees is not an issue. It is a hazard. Marcus was being strict because someone tipped him off. The hand sink was blocked. We moved crates. There was an unpermitted prep area. Temporary. Every answer was a towel thrown over a fire. Then she opened the desk drawer and pulled out a folder. This is what I was going to show you. Inside was a consent form, retroactive authorization and brand participation agreement. My name was already typed throughout it. The first paragraph said I had authorized Betrayal Carter to act as managing partner of Morales Table from March 18, 2024. March 18th, the day she revived my LLC. Sign this, she said, and we can fix the paperwork. I will give you 15% after debt service. You do not even have to work service if you are not ready. You want me to sign a lie. I want you to stop acting like I stole from you when I saved the only thing you ever made that mattered. There are sentences that end relationships while both people are still standing in the room. That was one. Outside the office, a server laughed. Pan hit the floor. Someone called for more cilantro. The restaurant breathed around us as if it were alive. Brielle lowered her voice. If you go nuclear, you ruin employees. You ruin vendors. You ruin my father who put real money into this. You ruin me. I picked up the consent form. For 1 second, relief moved across her face. Then I folded it once and put it in my bag. My attorney can read it. You have an attorney? I will tomorrow. Chapter 5. The lawyer who told me to stop explaining I did not sleep that night. I lay on my couch because my bed felt too soft for the person I had become, and every time my eyes closed I saw the same things in rotation. My signature under county letterhead. My name on the green door. The prep cook calling me chef. Brielle's face when she said she had saved what I made. At 3:14 a.m., I opened Instagram and searched Morales Table again. There were new posts from dinner service. A plate of duck over charred scallions. A table of women smiling with cocktails. A story from a local food writer named Simone Patel. Finally got into Morales Table. If you remember Elena's table, this feels like a homecoming. Homecoming. I turned my phone face down. At 8:02 I called David Kim. I knew his name because one of my old kitchen clients had used him when a partner tried to walk away with a bakery lease. He did food business law, small business disputes, and licensing problems. His assistant said he could meet at 11:30 if I could bring documents. I brought everything in a tote bag. The inspection report. The permit copy. The website screenshots. The Secretary of State filing. The seafood invoice. The grant folder. The retroactive consent form. David Kim was not tall, but he had the stillness of someone who had learned to let other people fill silence with mistakes. He read for 20 minutes while I sat across from him gripping a paper cup of water. When he reached the consent form, he made a sound through his nose. Absolutely not. I know. No, I need you to understand this. If you sign this, even with some side explanation that you were pressured, you give them an argument that you authorized the permit, the lease representations, the vendor accounts, and possibly the violations. This document is not a peace offering. It is a backdated liability net. My stomach turned. She said I would get 15%. Of what? After debt service. That means after everyone else gets paid, if anything remains, and if the business survives. He placed the form on the table. Elena, stop explaining her intentions to me. We can deal with intentions later. Right now we deal with records. That sentence became a rail I held onto for the next 2 months. Records first. David made a list. File an identity theft report and business record fraud complaint with local police, using careful language. Alleged forged signature, unauthorized use of ID, Unauthorized use of professional certification, unauthorized business filings. Send written notice to Wake County Environmental Health that I disputed ownership, responsibility, and permit authorization. Send preservation letters to Betrayal, Carter Events, the landlord, the bank or equipment financier if identified, major vendors, and any web host or reservation platform. File corrections with the Secretary of State. Notify my employer because if this became public before I told them, silence would look like concealment. Can I post online? I asked. Not today. People think I opened an unsafe restaurant. Then we build a record that says you did not. That takes time. Yes. She is using that time. I know. He looked at me and his voice changed slightly. You can be angry. Anger is allowed. But if you want this fixed, you cannot let anger be the author of the first public record. So I did the humiliating private things first. I went to the police station and said out loud that my best friend had used my name on a restaurant permit. The officer at the front desk blinked, then found the right form. I gave him copies. I do not know. Take 2 days. Paid. Send me your attorney's contact for any verification requests. I almost cried from the plainness of it. Not everyone makes you earn decency with a performance. By 4 o'clock, David had sent the first notices. At 4:37, Marcus Reed emailed him. Wake County Environmental Health has suspended operation under permit number 24-0618, pending corrected ownership documentation, responsible person verification, and corrective action for inspection violations. I read that email at my kitchen table. Then I heard from Betrayal. Not a call. A text. What did you do? For once I did not answer. Chapter 6. The kitchen behind the pretty menu restaurants do not go quiet when permits pause. They buzz. The staff group chat buzzes. Vendors buzz. Reservation platforms buzz with cancellation requests and bad reviews from people who had not even eaten there. Everyone who was not in the room when the lie was built suddenly gets dragged into the cost of it. By Saturday morning, Morales Table's Instagram had turned off comments. The website changed too. The paragraph that said founder Elena Morales disappeared. The phrase by Elena Morales vanished from the footer. The gallery still had my old food photos, but even those were rearranged, as if moving theft 3 inches to the left changed what it was. David told me to keep screenshots. I did. I became a woman who took screenshots before brushing her teeth. At 10:18, an email arrived from someone named Nia Wallace. Subject: I worked at Morales Table. I almost forwarded it to David unopened, but the first line showed in preview. I am sorry. We were told you owned it. I called David. He told me to forward it to him and not reply directly. An hour later, he set up a call with Nia. Me listening while he asked questions. Nia was 33. A line cook with a tired voice and the careful anger of someone who had been asked to risk her reputation for someone else's shortcuts. Betrayal said Elena was menu and compliance, Nia said. She said you were not on site because you were handling another contract, but every checklist came from you. They did not, I said before I could stop myself. David gave me a look. I shut up. Nia continued. The opening training binder had your old logo on it. Some pages looked real. Some were copied from somewhere else. When I asked about cooling logs, Betrayal said, Elena is old school. Just keep it clean and we will build systems later. My face burned. Old school. That was not how I worked. Did you photograph anything? David asked. Yes. I was worried. The photos came through in a secure link. They were worse than the inspection report because they had color. Raw chicken stored above washed greens. A sheet pan of cooked rice cooling in a deep plastic tub. Blue tape on a refrigerator door where the gasket did not seal. A hand sink filled with mint stems. The rear storage area set up with a cutting board, induction burner, and extension cord. None of it looked like horror. That made it more believable. It looked like a new restaurant under pressure, making 100 small compromises while the dining room glowed. Nia also sent screenshots from the staff group chat. Betrayal. Elena is reviewing the county stuff remotely. Just keep service moving. Betrayal. If inspector asks, I am manager, Elena is owner. Betrayal. Do not overcomplicate logs. We are in soft open mode. Soft open mode. As if bacteria give discounts during previews. I stood up during the call and walked circles around my living room. David muted us. Breathe, he said. People could get sick. Yes. Under my name. Under a false use of your name. That distinction matters. Not to someone throwing up because they ate there. He let that sit. Then we keep the health department fully informed. Nia agreed to provide a statement through counsel. She was afraid Betrayal would blame staff for the violations. She was right to be afraid. That afternoon, Betrayal posted a statement on Morales Table's Instagram. Due to administrative confusion during our transition from pop-up concept to brick-and-mortar restaurant, Morales Table is pausing service to complete additional training and documentation. We are proud of our team and grateful for the community's patience. Administrative confusion. I read the phrase so many times it stopped looking like language. Then Simone Patel, the food writer, posted a story. Hearing some odd ownership chatter around Morales Table. Hoping all parties resolve this. The food community deserves transparency. My message is filled. Are you involved? Did something happen with Betrayal? Why didn't you tell us you opened? Is the restaurant yours or not? One message came from a woman I had cooked for in 2019 after her father died. She had hired me for a memorial dinner because he loved green chili stew. Elena, I recommended this place to my book club because I thought it was you. Please tell me what is going on. That was the one that broke my restraint. I opened a blank post. I wrote 3 paragraphs that began with Betrayal Carter stole my name. I wrote that she forged my signature. I wrote that she put customers at risk. I wrote that if anyone got sick, they should call her, not me. Then I heard David's voice in my head. Records first. I saved the post in notes and sent it to him with one sentence. Tell me no. He replied 10 minutes later. No. Tomorrow we draft something factual. I hated him for being useful. That night I drove past 118 Oak Street with Luis in the passenger seat. The lights were off. A paper notice was taped to the door. Through the glass, I could see chairs flipped onto tables and the gold script under the name still visible. By Elena Morales. Luis reached for the door handle. Do not, I said. I was only going to look. We have looked enough. He settled back, jaw tight. She made it beautiful, I said. That does not make it hers. It does to people walking by. Then we make the record louder than the paint. Sounded impossible. But for the first time it also sounded like a plan. Chapter 7. The landlord filed. June Pritchard owned the Oak Street building, 3 storefronts on the next block, and according to David, enough commercial property to recognize a bad lease packet when someone finally pointed at it. She agreed to meet us Monday morning. Her office was above a frame shop, with framed black and white photos of Raleigh before the sidewalks widened. She wore a navy cardigan, reading glasses on a chain, and the expression of a woman who had already decided surprise was a waste of billable time. I leased to Morales Table because I believed Elena Morales was the operator, she said before we sat down. A letter on Carter Events letterhead saying Betrayal Carter was authorized to negotiate lease terms on behalf of owner-chef Elena Morales. At the bottom of the letter was my signature. This version was worse. It had the coffee-stained signature lifted so cleanly that I could see the same slight break in the M from the old scan. Someone had not even traced it. They had pasted it. David took one look and said, "That is useful." Useful. The word would have offended me if I had not been so grateful for anything that made the lie easier to prove. June's mouth tightened. I should have called you directly. Yes, I said. David glanced at me, but June nodded. Fair. I relied on the broker, the packet, and Betrayal's history as an event planner. That is on me. I respected her more for saying it plainly. What happens now? I asked. June folded her hands. If the tenant obtained the lease with fraudulent representations and cannot operate legally, we issue notice and cure according to the lease. If she cannot cure, we terminate. I also notify my insurer and lender. Can she cure it by getting me to sign now? Would you? No. Then no. David asked for certified copies of the file. June agreed. She also provided the broker emails. One email from Betrayal said, Elena is the culinary owner and compliance brain. I am front of house and events. She hates paperwork, so I handle documents. I read that sentence 3 times. She hates paperwork. No. I hated feeling ashamed of paperwork because it reminded me of debt. I hated grant portals, bank declines, and the way closing a business made every form feel like a report card. Betrayal had turned that into permission. The broker had asked whether Elena would attend the lease signing. Betrayal replied, "She is caring for her mother that week, but authorization attached." My mother had died in 2022. That was the detail that made me leave the room. I made it to the hallway before my throat closed. David found me near the stairwell. "We can pause." She used my dead mother as calendar filler. He did not answer too quickly. "Yes. I keep thinking there has to be a bottom. There may not be. Our job is not to find the bottom emotionally. Our job is to make a record strong enough that you do not have to keep digging forever." When we returned, June was looking out the window. "I had a restaurant fail in that space in 2018, she said. "Good chef. Bad books." I told myself I would never again lease to Charm without operations. Then Betrayal brought me a packet with your name, your following, and a compliance certificate. It looked responsible. "That is why she used it," I said. June looked at me then. "I will not pretend my mistake equals your betrayal. It does not. But I will correct my part." That afternoon, her attorney issued a notice to cure. Morales Table had 5 business days to provide valid ownership authorization, corrected permit documentation, proof of insurance, evidence that vendor accounts were not fraudulent, and confirmation that the food service suspension had been resolved. Betrayal called me 17 times. I did not answer. At 7:49 p.m., she left a voicemail. "Elena, call me. Please. June is threatening the lease, vendors are freezing us, and my dad is asking questions. You made your point. I need you to say this was a misunderstanding." She sounded frightened. I hated that part. I had wanted her to sound exposed, maybe even sorry. Fear was more complicated because I knew her fear. I had watched it run underneath her brightness since we were 15. Fear of being ordinary. Fear of being broke. Fear of her father calling her another almost. That did not make me call back. The next voicemail came at 8:12. "You know I would have cut you in." I deleted that one after saving a copy for David. Chapter 8. The post I almost wrote the factual statement was 7 sentences. It took 3 people, 2 lawyers, and 9 drafts. My first draft wanted blood. David's draft wanted evidence. My final draft wanted oxygen. It said, "I am aware that a restaurant operating as Morales Table has used my name, prior business materials, and professional certification in public and official documents. I am not an owner, operator, chef, employee, consultant, or responsible food protection manager for that restaurant. I did not authorize the use of my name or signature in its permit, lease, vendor, or marketing materials. I am cooperating with county officials and council to correct the record. Questions about the restaurant's operations should be directed to the business and appropriate regulatory authorities. Please do not harass staff, many of whom appear to have been misled. I will share further information only through verified records. No adjectives. No brille. No forged because David wanted that word for filed documents, not Instagram. No unsafe because the inspection report could speak for itself. I posted it Tuesday at noon. For 5 minutes nothing happened. Then everything did. People shared it. People apologized. People asked for more. Some asked why I had waited. Some decided I was lying because the website had already changed. A few accused me of abandoning a restaurant when it got hard, which was Betrayal's version with better punctuation. Simone Patel emailed David 34 minutes after the post. She had promoted the opening and wanted comment before writing a correction. David sent her the public inspection report, the Secretary of State filing, and my statement. He did not send the whole evidence packet. He did not need to. That evening, Simone posted, "Correction. My previous coverage of Morales Table repeated the restaurant's representation that Elena Morales was owner/founder. Ms. Morales states through counsel that she has no ownership or operating role and did not authorize use of her name. County records currently reflect a disputed responsible party filing, and the restaurant's permit is suspended pending correction." It was not dramatic. It was better than dramatic. It was accurate. Betrayal posted an hour later. Morales Table was built from a collaborative concept that has unfortunately become the subject of a private dispute. We are working with advisors to resolve paperwork issues and protect our team. Collaborative concept. Private dispute. Paperwork issues. Luis texted me. I hate her nouns. I laughed for the first time in days. Then the bank called. Not my bank. The equipment financing company that had funded the ovens, refrigeration, and point-of-sale system. They called David first, because his preservation letter had asked whether any financing documents named me or relied on my credit, certification, or ownership. The answer was yes. The equipment financing packet included an owner profile for Elena Morales, founder and culinary director, with projected personal guarantee pending after opening. It did not contain my actual credit application, thank God, but it relied on my biography, my old revenue, and my certificate to justify underwriting. The financier froze remaining disbursements. One freezer had not been fully paid for. One invoice for kitchen smallwares was still pending. A reservation platform held deposits from private parties that had booked June events because of my name. The web grew wider. That is how fraud works in business. It does not stay in the first lie. It uses the first lie as a bridge to the next office, the next invoice, the next person who says, well, if the county accepted it, and the landlord accepted it, and the bank accepted it, who am I to ask? By Thursday, vendors had sent me $31,780 in invoices, past due notices, account statements, and confused emails. Some were apologetic. Some were not. One produced distributor wrote, if this is your business, payment is due. If it is not, provide fraud documentation. David replied with documentation. I spent that week learning that clearing your name is work. Not inspirational work. Clerical work. Forms, affidavits, scanned IDs, notarized statements, phone calls where you repeat the same humiliating sentence to strangers. No, I did not open Morales' table. No, I did not authorize the account. No, that is not my signature. No, I do not know who received the delivery. Yes, I understand there is a balance. No, I will not pay it. By Friday evening, my voice was hoarse. I drove to my mother's old house, where Luis still lived while he figured out what to do with it. He made coffee even though it was too late for coffee. We sat on the back steps where my mother used to clean cilantro in a blue bowl. Do you miss it? He asked. The restaurant I never opened? Food. People knowing you for that. I watched a moth throw itself at the porch light. I miss cooking before it had a balance sheet. That was never real. No. But it felt real. He leaned back on his hands. Mom would be furious. At Betrayal. At you two. I looked at him. For what? For thinking Shane gave someone else permission to use what you made. I wanted to argue. Then I thought of my mother watching me archive Elena's table. Watching me fold away menus like evidence of a crime. Watching Betrayal step into that silence with paint, paperwork, and confidence. Maybe grief had made me leave my name unattended, but unattended does not mean abandoned. That night, before I went home, Luis brought the chipped green bowl from the kitchen and placed it in my hands. Take it, he said. I do not need more fragile things. Yes, he said. You do. Chapter 9. Betrayal's last offer. Betrayal asked to meet in person on May 28th. She did not text me directly. She sent the request through David, which meant someone had finally told her direct contact looked bad. David said no at first. I said yes with conditions. Public place. Daytime. He would sit at another table. No documents signed. No promises. No discussion off the record. If she wanted to apologize, she could apologize. If she wanted to threaten me, she could do it with a lawyer 20 feet away taking notes. We met at a coffee shop nowhere near Oak Street. Betrayal arrived in sunglasses and no lipstick, which was how I knew she wanted to look wounded instead of polished. She saw David first, then me. Really, she said. A chaperone? A witness. She sat down. For a few seconds, we were two women who had known each other too long to begin. I remembered her at 15, drawing stars on her sneakers with silver marker. I remembered her at 22, drunk and sobbing because the man she loved had proposed to someone else. I remembered her holding my hand in the hospital hallway when my mother came out of surgery, and the doctor said the word stable. Then I remembered my mother's death used as an excuse in a broker email. Say what you asked to say, I said. She looked down at her hands. I am sorry you found out from the inspector. It was a sentence shaped like an apology and hollow in the middle. That is what you are sorry for? I am sorry it got messy. Betrayal. She pushed her sunglasses onto her head.
Fine.
I am sorry I used the documents. And my name. And your name. And my signature. Her mouth tightened. Yes. And told people I owned the restaurant. I told people you were part of the concept. The lease says owner chef. Because June would not sign with just me. There it was. The reason stripped of romance. Why? Because I had one failed event company year after COVID and one angry landlord from a venue dispute. Because banks hear Betrayal Carter and see risk. They hear Elena Morales and remember sold-out dinners and homemade tortillas, and all your little loyal people who still talk about soup like it was church. So you used them too. I used momentum. You used trust. She leaned forward. What was I supposed to do? Watch you waste it forever? You had a name people loved, and you were using it to file temperature logs for nursing homes. I felt the insult land, but it did not cut as deeply as she wanted. That job keeps people safe. You sound like a pamphlet. And you sound like someone whose walk-in cooler was at 51 degrees. Her eyes flashed. Do you think I wanted that? Do you think I wanted opening week to go that way? I was underwater from day one. Contractors ran late, the refrigeration guy missed 2 appointments, staff kept quitting, and my father had already wired $85,000. He told me this was my last chance to stop being an expensive idea. For the first time, I heard the whole machine behind her. Armand Carter loved his daughter, but his love always arrived with a scoreboard. Betrayal had spent her life trying to turn his money into proof that she deserved it. So you made me collateral. Her face crumpled for half a second. I thought if I got open I could make it real. I thought once money came in I would pay you, bring you on, fix the paperwork, and everyone would be happy. Everyone. You know what I mean? No. I am learning that when people say everyone, they usually mean the people they cannot afford to disappoint. She looked away. I have employees. I know. Nia is feeding you things because she wants attention. Nia sent kitchen photos. Nia was part of that kitchen. And you told her I approved it. Betrayal pressed both hands over her face. I need you to sign a narrower statement. I laughed quietly. No. Just that you were aware of the concept. I was aware that I used to cook food under my own name. That is not your restaurant. If the lease terminates, I lose everything. You already lost it. The question is how much of it you try to drag through me on the way down. She lowered her hands. There was the friend I knew, frightened and furious and somehow still expecting me to become the soft place where consequences landed. You will ruin me, she said. No. I am refusing to be used as the reason you do not face what you did. You think you are so clean? No. You quit. You abandoned the brand. You let people who loved you wonder where you went. I believed in Elena's table more than you did. Maybe. That stopped her. I took a breath. Maybe you did believe in it. Maybe you believed so hard you decided belief counted as ownership. But my shame did not transfer my name to you. My silence did not sign a permit. My grief over my mother did not give you a lease. Her eyes filled. I miss her too, she said. That was low and we both knew it. My voice went quiet. Do not use my mother again. For once she looked ashamed. Not enough to fix it. Enough to prove she knew where the line was. David checked his watch from the other table. I stood. The next conversation goes through lawyers.
Betrayal grabt her bag.
Elena, please. There was the word again. Please. It had saved her from speeding tickets, overdraft fees, angry brides, late rent, and at least 3 men who should have been left sooner. It had worked on me for 21 years. I wanted to hug her. I wanted to shake her. I wanted to go back to the first day in biology and take the other chair. Instead I said, I hope you tell the truth before it costs everyone more. Then I walked out with my lawyer. Chapter 10. The hearing on July 12th was held in a room too ordinary for the amount of life it contained. Beige walls. Flag in the corner. Plastic pitcher of water. A clock that clicked louder than it needed to. It was not a criminal trial. That disappointed people later when they wanted the story to end with handcuffs. Real life was messier and, in some ways, more exacting. There were county records to correct, a lease to terminate, vendor claims to separate, financing documents to unwind, an LLC filing to fix, a civil complaint to resolve before my name spent another year tied to a restaurant I had never operated. Brielle sat with her attorney on the opposite side of the room. Her father sat behind her, stone-faced. He did not look at me. I wondered if he hated me or if he was counting. June Pritchard was there with her lawyer. A representative from the equipment financier joined by video. Marcus Reed sat near the front with the county file. Nia waited in the hallway in case testimony was needed. David had warned me that settlement hearings can feel anticlimactic. You may not get a moment where everyone says you were right, he said. I do not need that. Everyone thinks they do until they do not receive it. He was right again, annoyingly. I wanted a sentence. Some official voice saying Elena Morales did not do this. I wanted it because I had spent weeks repeating the negative version. I do not own. I did not authorize. I did not sign. There is a particular exhaustion in defining yourself by absence. The county portion came first. Marcus testified that Environmental Health had received an online permit application naming me as owner and certified food protection manager. He confirmed the failed inspection findings. He confirmed that, after I disputed the filing and provided documentation, the county suspended the permit and required corrected ownership records. Brielle's attorney did not fight him hard. There was no point. The forged authorization was enlarged on a screen. Then David displayed the coffee-stained signature sample from my old grant folder, and the lease letter signature pasted from the same source. Same break in the M. Same uneven tail on the S. Same faint coffee mark caught at the edge of the scan in one version because whoever copied it had been careless. For weeks I had hated that signature page. In that room it became a witness. The judge asked Brielle whether she disputed that I had not personally signed the permit authorization. Brielle's attorney whispered to her. She said, "No, one syllable. Not an apology, but a record." The consent order took 23 minutes to read into the file. Morales Table's county permit was voided as improperly obtained. The public record would be corrected to state that Elena Morales was not owner, operator, responsible person, chef, consultant, or manager for the restaurant at 118 Oak Street. Brielle Carter and the business entity under her control would be responsible for county fines, lease obligations, and vendor debts not personally authorized by Elena Morales. The landlord's lease termination would proceed under the fraud and failure to cure provisions. The equipment financier would remove Elena Morales from underwriting records and pursue remedies against the applicant entity and guarantors. Brielle would pay $42,000 in direct restitution to cover legal fees, record corrections, lost wages, and documented costs. She would issue a public correction, approved by counsel, within 48 hours. She would not use Morales Elena's table, my likeness, my recipes, my old photographs, my certificate, or any confusingly similar branding in future food service business without written permission. There were other clauses: insurance, indemnity, payment schedule, non-harassment, document preservation, the kind of language that makes pain enforceable. When the judge asked if I understood and accepted the order, I stood. Yes. My voice sounded steadier than I felt. He asked Brielle the same. She said yes without looking at me. Afterward, in the hallway, Armand Carter stopped beside me. Louis stepped forward, but I touched his arm. Armand was a large man with silver hair, and the posture of someone used to being seated first. She was desperate, he said. I looked at him. Then you should have helped her honestly. His mouth opened, then closed. Maybe no one had ever suggested his money was not the same as help. Brielle came out last. For a moment she looked like the girl from biology again, caught in a rule she did not think would apply to her. Elena, she said. David shifted beside me. I waited. I did not think it would hurt you if it worked. That was the closest she came to the truth. I know, I said. That was the problem. The public correction appeared the next day. Morales Table and Brielle Carter acknowledged that Elena Morales did not authorize use of her name, signature, certification, business materials, or prior brand assets in connection with the restaurant at 118 Oak Street. Elena Morales was not owner, operator, chef, consultant, responsible food protection manager, or employee of Morales table. We regret the misuse and any confusion caused. Regret, not apologize. David said it was enough. Legally, he was right. Emotionally, enough is a strange country. You can live there, but it takes time to learn the language. That night, Brielle texted me from a number I had not blocked yet. Was losing me worth getting your name back? I read it once. Then I blocked the number. Not because I had no answer. Because she still thought those were separate things. Chapter 11. My name on a door I chose. I did not reopen Elena's table. People expected me to. After the correction, messages came in with a different tone. You should take over the space. You should do the restaurant properly. Turn this into your comeback. Make her watch you succeed. Those messages meant well mostly. They also misunderstood the lesson. I did not want to build my future inside the outline of Brielle's fraud. I did not want the Oak Street kitchen, with its cold-holding history and pretty green door and walls that had heard my name used as a password. I did not want revenge that required me to inherit the mess. What I wanted was smaller and harder to explain. I wanted to cook without disappearing. I wanted records that matched reality. I wanted a name on paper because I put it there. In August, I filed a new entity, Morales Kitchen Lab. Not Elena's table. That name belonged to a younger version of me who thought feeding people enough meant they would treat you carefully. I loved her, but I did not want to ask her to carry the next thing. Morales Kitchen Lab began as 2 ideas. Food safety workshops for small pop-ups and community cooks who were I had not come to win. I had come to observe, sign nothing, and leave with enough certainty to stop doubting myself. Stand behind. I rented a licensed shared. I hated that it did, but it did. I had insurance. I opened a new bank account with no borrowed documents and no friend managing the portal. I made Louis sit beside me while I read every filing. Not because he understood all of it, but because I wanted someone in the room at the table. No, my signature. On by accident. You become quiet after this workshop. 8 people came. I will be rewarded. Farmers markets. A woman who made hot sauce in legal gray areas and knew it. 2 sisters trying to start a tamale delivery service. A retired teacher who wanted to sell pies. A young man with a dumpling pop-up and a cooler that made me nervous from the moment he described it. I stood at the front of the kitchen with my mother's chipped green bowl on the prep table beside me. Before we talk recipes, I said, we talk responsibility. They looked disappointed for about 3 seconds. That made me smile. Food can be generous and still be dangerous, I said. A good story does not keep chicken cold. A family recipe does not sanitize a cutting board. A beautiful name on a flyer does not make a permit real. The young man with the dumplings raised his hand. Is this going to be scary? A little, I said. Then useful. We spent 2 hours on temperatures, logs, allergens, labeling, and what to do when a refrigerator fails 10 minutes before pickup. I told them mistakes would happen. I told them hiding mistakes was where harm multiplied. At the end, the baker stayed behind. Were you the Morales table person? She asked. There it was. The shadow still attached. I could have said no and ended it. Instead I said, my name was used there without my consent. I was not the owner or operator. That experience is one reason I am careful about records. She nodded slowly. That must have been awful. It was. Your class was good. I laughed. Thank you for putting those in the right order. After everyone left, I cleaned the prep table alone. 4 years. Cleaning after service had been the loneliest part of food work. The room emptied, praise faded, and all that remained was sugar in the grout and the bill for tomorrow's ingredients. That night felt different. The silence did not accuse me. It waited. My phone buzzed. A message from Marcus read. Ms. Morales, I saw the workshop flyer through the community kitchen office. Glad to see clear food safety education attached to your name. Let me know if you need county resource links for future classes. I read it twice. Then I placed the phone beside the green bowl and leaned against the counter. The health inspector had called me once because my name was attached to a kitchen I had never seen. Now he was calling me because my name was attached to work I had chosen. That difference did not erase the betrayal. It did not return 21 years of friendship. It did not make the legal fees feel smaller or the sleepless weeks more noble. But it gave my name back its weight. Not fame. Wait, The kind that keeps a paper from blowing across a table. In November, I walked past 118 Oak Street for the first time without crossing to the other side. The green paint had been stripped. The windows were covered with brown paper. Someone had scraped away the gold script, but if you knew where to look, you could still see faint shadows of the letters. Morales Table, by Elena Morales. Luis asked once if seeing the empty storefront made me sad. I told him yes. That surprised him. After everything? Especially after everything. Because grief does not check whether someone deserves it. I grieved the friend I lost, the restaurant I never opened, the trust one gave too cheaply, and the version of myself who thought avoiding conflict was kindness. Then I kept walking. At my next workshop, I added one line to the handout. Never lend your name to a process you cannot inspect. People thought it was about permits. It was. It was also about friendship. About business. About every time someone says, just trust me, while moving your signature toward a line you have not read. I keep the first printed copy in a clear sleeve now, coffee stain and all, because reminders work better when they are specific enough. I still cook with my mother's green bowl. I still get nervous before every dinner. I still flinch when an unknown Raleigh number calls my phone. But now, when someone asks who is responsible, I do not shrink from the question. If it is mine, I say yes. If it is not, I say no. And I keep the records to prove the difference. Mara brings in witnesses and shifts power from family pressure to documented process. At 7:45, the door to the private room opened. Not Felix. Not the waiter.